Some Path of Exile 2 news. It's gonna be amazing.
Pretty big news for Path of Exile 2 today. They just announced in a trailer here, we'll let this run while we're talking about it. This was during the Sony PlayStation like state of game or whatever they call it, the event, the PlayStation event. And during that event, they announced that not only is Path of Exile 2 coming to console, but it is also going to be couch co-op. It is going to be cross-play as well as cross-progression. So if you're familiar with Path of Exile 1, one of the problems with Path of Exile 1...
Yeah, I mean, there is no way they're not going to make it cross-platform and all of those things, right? If Path of Exile did not do that, I would say it's over for PoE 2. No questions asked. That would just be the worst, lamest thing anyone has ever seen in their lives.
One is if you're playing on console, you're basically playing on different servers than on PC, and the patches don't come out at the same times, etc. But now that is no longer the case. You are going to be able to play Path of Exile 2, fully cross-play, fully cross-progression, and even cooler couch co-op. So if you have a buddy or a girlfriend or something and you want to play two controllers, same TV, they have couch co-op built into Path of Exile 2 now on the consoles, which for me is a pretty big W. Now, I myself have actually been in...
I mean, it's nice, but let's be completely real. Couch co-op is not gonna be a thing in PoE that, you know, is either required or people actually care that much about. Now, don't get me wrong, the more the better, yes, but I mean, seriously, couch co-op.
Invited down to test out these features. So I'll be flying down the 5th. On the 6th, I'll be testing them, flying back the 7th. So expect a video on this channel like the 8th or the 9th with footage of what this looks like, as well as an actual breakdown of, you know, my opinion of how smooth it is, etc. So that will be coming out soon. Now, GameSpot got an exclusive trailer here for the official console deep dive here. So we're going to take a look at this and see actually what this footage looks like. I've not had a chance to see this
Looks good, not gonna lie, boys. Looks pretty good.
yet.
It's a pelican.
I'm hoping that when we go, we'll get to try the new classes. I myself played the Warrior last time. I've already tested it for the PC version.
We started working on Path of Exile 2 on console. We knew we had to do a much better job than we've done in the past. And Path of Exile 2 is a great game to do that with, because the combat is so much more visceral and action-oriented. As soon as we tried it on a controller, all of those extra features that we did to make melee combat feel so much better just really came out and felt great. We've got a dedicated team for console now, and they were able to create a new user interface just for controller, and we're really excited to show it to you guys.
Okay.
It's twin stick, so basically left stick is your movement, as you'd expect, and right stick is the directional control for your character, so it allows you to do things like run backwards and stuff like that.
This is going to be pretty useful because there's a character, the Warrior, that has a shield, and where you're actually aiming your shield based upon where your mouse was placed, this was the character I tested, was what side your shield is blocking. So actually having directional movement on the controller is probably going to be pretty good.
Overrides the...
Is that actually going to be... Well, it's going to be as easy as the mouse, I guess, but, you know, still. I almost forgot about the fact that you can shield block now, which is going to be interesting and wild. You also have a dodge roll if you have forgotten. There's a lot of things in PoE 2 that seem like, well, either they're going to be great or they're going to be removed in one day because everyone's going to hate them.
The auto-targeting, so...
One of the things that is going to definitely get removed day one from the game when it releases is going to be things like Meteor? I think it's Meteor. You know, the one that the sorceress has as a default, I guess. And it calls down a meteor from the sky, and it's a really long cast time, which is fine. But you then jump backwards. Yeah, the jump backwards is going to get removed day one, I think. Because people are just going to hate it.
It allows you to actually manually target enemies that are surrounding you, giving you much greater control. It works in combination with the keybinds. So we've got 24 keybinds that we have for the game, which sounds a bit daunting, but the way we kind of manage that is...
Wait, that's also inventory and shit.
Each skill that you gain is basically given a default bind, and then you can choose to override that if you want, if it's completely in the player's hands to choose where they want to bind the actual skills.
Oh, that's pretty good.
You have a lot of freedom with regard...
I don't know. Kind of hard to say if this is a good.
As to your design of your build, because that is the nature of the game, is like we need to allow that flexibility for players to create whatever they want to play.
Now, this looks like a different act. When I was playing it and doing my testing, I was able to get through.
Oh yeah, this is the desert act where you're traveling on some kind of thing.
About Act 2. I wasn't able to test Act 3, 4, etc. in the in-game, so I'm hoping when we go down there, they're going to have more time available. We were only all allowed to play for about 4 hours, so I'm hoping we get more than that this time.
Inventory management for console, we've basically redesigned the whole menu system specifically for console. It's full screen.
Well, to be honest, you kind of have to do that, otherwise the people on consoles can't even play properly. So, you know,
provides you with a preview of your character, so you can actually see the full model of the character close up. But functionally, we still hold fidelity with the actual PC game. So inventory management is like you can pick up an item, move it around, and place it and equip it as usual. But we also provide shortcuts. So like there's a fast way to equip, there's a fast way to use an item in your inventory.
So when we're thinking about what would be a great reason to play Path of Exile on a couch, one of the things that we knew a lot of people would really enjoy was playing with their friends in co-op. This is actually a feature that a lot of games just don't bother with.
Absolutely not. There's a reason people stop doing this. That's because most people play solo
Anymore.
I'm so glad he's mentioning this. I don't know what's happening, but it's like the reason I own a console is so I can play with somebody on the couch at the same time. Like that's the reason I own a console. I'm sure there's some exclusives you could play, etc. But for me, it's because I want to play with something in real life. A lot of games just don't even have this anymore, or games like you would think would be really good.
Yeah, again, because no one wants to do that, honestly. That's just the brutal reality nowadays. People don't want to do it. People just want to log in, game, and, you know, for 20 minutes and then do something else.
Couch co-op games do not have it at all implemented. And you're like, this is a game that I literally only bought to play multiplayer, but now you'd have to own a second PlayStation or something. So I'm super glad they're adding couch co-op. This is a huge selling point for people.
But it's something that I really love personally.
I mean, yeah, for like 3 people, maybe it's going to be a huge selling point, DM. Man, he is way overestimating what it means to actually have split screen co-op or some shit.
You can play through the whole game from beginning to end together, enjoying the story along the way. And one of the great things is that in Path of Exile 2, we have a lot more synergy between our classes. So if you're playing something different from your friend, you'll probably find a lot of ways to work together.
Oh, this looks great. So it's not split screen.
The addition of couch co-op was initially a bit of an experiment at first,
and
maybe
then
we started to expand on.
Oh, a split screen would be horrible. Hey, actually, I didn't even think about it. You know, imagine actually splitting the screen horizontally or vertically. That would be horrible in PoE, because you wouldn't be able to see shit. So, is this going to be one of those co-op things where you can't actually do anything? You know, you can't even move in a different direction of the other guy because you need to split the screen? That is great. That is actually good.
On it, we introduced like separate HUDs for each of the characters, and then once we got
this is good.
The camera system working with 2 characters,
okay,
it really
so
started to kind of come together and play really
one
nicely.
screen.
So then we expanded on.
So, though admittedly, this would be kind of problematic to map, but you know.
On that by providing couch co-op players with panel versions of the full screen menus that I've spoken about.
Okay.
Which allowed us to have like simultaneous play with regards to
that looks good.
inventory management and adjusting.
Oh, we finally see passives. Look at this. I don't think we have seen passives before. Nice.
Your passive skill tree and stuff like that. It was really just an evolution of the original sort of single player game that actually turned into something pretty special.
That looks pretty clean. I love that they're not going split screen, that they're going the same screen.
So logging in with couch co-op is pretty straightforward. Like you log in as normal with single player, and then you can choose to log in second player as a guest on that account.
There you
or if
go.
you've got a friend who's a fan of the game as well, who also has an account, they can log in as a second player and have access to all of their content as well. So
looks pretty good. Also, man, that looks pretty
content as well. So
yes, I'm a big fan.
We've basically made it as flexible as possible to play any way you want to play. We're really
So a
happy
lot
with
better
the
than I
addition
was
of it,
thinking.
and it's available on console.
Oh yeah, this is way better than what I was thinking also. Man, but again, this is why no one does couch co-op anymore, because almost no one wants to do this. And this is going to have its own problems. Let's go back to the town, but my shit ain't full, bitch. Well, I still want to go back to the town. And then you're like, no, you can't go back to the town alone. So I'm not going to the town. I want to go left. I want to go right. And that's how you get a divorce.
And on PC as well, so it's on all available platforms. I'd say it's like integral to the main game now.
With Path of Exile 2, we're trying to introduce the game to a much larger audience, and that means that it's really important to make sure that all our mechanics are understandable. Path of Exile's kind of got a reputation as a game of complexity.
It's
and
true.
This is something we want to make sure that we're
Yeah.
improving while also maintaining all the depth that we have. So we're making
He
sure...
shows the skill tree, like zoom out to show the players, don't worry, you still have the complex skill tree. But he's right, man. Path of Exile 1, the amount of times I've been told by people, it's like, you know, I like watching you, but I don't want to play Path of Exile because the game is intimidating or it takes so long to learn. I don't have the time for it. I'm really hoping they get the balance right with this with PoE 2. When I tested it, they didn't really...
Yeah, I mean, the skill tree, for example, it is what it is. You just have to read it. But on the other hand, crafting, oh man, crafting when you need to read 15 light novels worth of Wikipedia articles to understand how to craft shit, and when it's best to craft with this, and when it's best to craft with... it's so unbelievably bad. And the reality, it's not even complex. It's just, you require knowledge. You require an accumulation of knowledge to actually play PoE 1 correctly at the end stages of the game. It is kind of sad, honestly.
really have the skill tree flushed out and ready. So I'm curious to see when I go test it this time if the skill tree is actually like more feasible for us to dig into and see the complexity behind it, because it wasn't really ready for me to look at in the first testing phase I did.
PoE 2, that we've got a lot more systems around giving you more information. Our item system, for example, it's certainly an area that had some complexity to it. Well, in PoE 2, we wanted to make sure there just weren't any hidden mechanics anymore, and so we've added a help system built into every hover. You get the press of a button, you can get help about what any stat does.
Bruh, this is, they literally looked at Last Epoch and said, oh yeah, we need that. Because Last Epoch does a good job at explaining stuff. Now, admittedly, how much you explain stuff is still kind of complex. For example, Last Epoch enjoyers, you are using skeleton mages, and they are casting sacrifice, okay? And you're casting it, and you're casting the sacrifice on skeleton warriors, not wraiths. So, what happens now? Are there any buffs that you can give your summons? And by summons, I mean skeleton warriors. Do they explode for more damage? Are they, how does it work? What stats can I increase for the mages that it increases the cast damage? There's so many small questions that you need to ask and you don't exactly know. It's really crazy, dude.
And we found that that's really useful to the player experience.
That will be useful.
Path of Exile 2 has full cross-play and cross-progression. Cross-progression basically allows you to play your game on your PC, and then if you want to move to the couch and continue play, then you can. You can just switch on your PlayStation and continue playing.
Oh, this is getting me hyped.
It makes sense for us to release this on PC and consoles at the same time. The models we're supporting are PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series models.
People around their office have had a huge amount of fun on the console version of PoE 2, especially with the couch co-op.
So it's the latest gen.
We're having a beta on console simultaneously.
Well, the couch co-op, if you're a developer, probably is super fun. Not gonna lie. If I was a dev, I would probably be also singing the praises of couch co-op. But as a normal person, a normal man in his 30s who has like 2 friends in his life, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And well, I also have a guild in World of Warcraft, I guess. But you know, as the average representation of a man who has like, you know, one, maybe two, maybe at best 3 friends in his life, yeah, okay, couch co-op, not exactly sounding that exciting.
Simultaneously with PC at the end
But if I was in an office and it was like work buddies, then fuck yeah, couch co-op is the best thing ever.
of the year. I'm really excited to see what you guys
Okay, beta end of the year for both platforms, PC and console. That's a big point.
Jesus Christ, it's taking too long. What the fuck? A beta? Dude, this game should have been releasing like 2 months from now. What the hell? Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this now. I thought it's gonna release sooner, but the beta just at the end of the year. Are you fucking with me, mustache dude? Like, what the hell, you V from Vendetta character looking freak? No, this is not good. Path of Exile 2 has been slowly drip feeding information about it and videos and whatnot for a very long time. I feel that around the time that Path of Exile 2 is going to release, there is going to be no hype left for this game because it was 15 years in the making.
There of information.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to converting everyone to use a controller when they're playing Path of Exile 2.
All right, man.
When this game releases, no one's going to be even using controllers. They're going to be using brain implant chips.
I'm going to fly down and test this. We got a buddy that's coming to test it with me. People that have been watching me a long time might know J-Gigs. He's coming as well to test this game out with me. So we're going to have a 2-player couch co-op.
Have fun, my dude. But that's pretty much it. That was .microtransactions DM Skittles. Anyway, bye-bye.